Popular Twitch streamer Henreek accompanies me on today's episode as we talk about NHL 25, the history of Chell, and potential changes to the game. We have a lot to break down in today's episode of Locked On Devils alongside Henreek. Buckle up, everybody.
You're Locked On Devils, your daily podcast on the New Jersey Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, this is Bryce Salvador, and you're Locked On Devils with Trey Matthews.
Scores! Oh, Stevens stepped up, nailed it. Brodor's got the puck. What a shot. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Alrighty now, what is up, New Jersey? Welcome back to the Locked On Devils podcast here on Locked On Network. I'm your host, college hockey play-by-play announcer, Devils Rider Pucks Pitchforks, and also part-time credential media member, Trey Matthews. In the previous episode, I shared my thoughts on NHL 25 and its cover athletes, including two New Jersey Devils players, Luke and Jack. But as I said, I am not a professional gamer. I am the offline gamer. I'm a casual gamer. So I figured I need someone who's a little smarter than me in that department. Joining me on today's episode is Twitch streamer Henreek. No, not Adam Henreek. That's his screen name. Henreek, how you doing? I've interviewed a lot of people, but this is the first time that I'm interviewing a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be here, talk about the game. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be your first person ever interviewed as a streamer.
Awesome. And you got to stream in a few hours during the time of this recording, so I won't keep you up too long. First question is, what are your thoughts on the cover athletes? It's the Hughes brothers, Jack, Quinn, and Luke. I see you got your Devils hat in your Twitter profile. You're rocking a Devils sweater. I guess let's start there. Like, are you a Devils fan? And if so, what were your reactions when you heard that there were going to be a couple Devils players on the cover for the first time since NHL 14?
Yeah, no, I'm a huge Devils fan. I've been my whole life, and hearing about them being on the cover, I mean, it's like a dream come true, honestly. I mean, everyone always thought like that was like a possibility, right? All three brothers, once Luke obviously came into the league, and now that's actually happening, it's really cool, I think, and it's such a great marketing idea for them. I mean, to have all three brothers on the cover, right? It kind of shows, they all do different things, right? So I think it's a cool thing.
Awesome. So NHL recently released their trailer, and it showed some of the changes. And I said in the prior episode, I don't know if it's enough to entice me to pay $60 to buy the game, because a lot of people, including myself, have been saying that it's just going to be a recycled game from last year, the year before that. What changes are you seeing with the game? And can you go into a little bit more detail? Is it enough for you to purchase the game and continue to stream your playing abilities on Twitch?
Yeah, so I mean, we haven't really seen too much yet, because I mean, they kind of just showed the trailer. They haven't really shown like the new features in each mode that they've talked about yet. So you can't really say for sure yet. You kind of have to wait. Like, that's what I'd say for people, like, if they're not really sure yet, I'd still wait to see like the gameplay trailer is going to come out still. They're going to have a whole trailer based on franchise mode. Franchise mode, it does appear to be getting a huge overhaul, which is really exciting because that mode has not been touched, a lot in the last 4 years, I'd say. So, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how that comes out. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I would say the things that we do know so far is something like, if you're someone that plays Hockey Ultimate Team, right? That's like, Hut online, obviously you can play offline too, but that appears to have a new mode coming to it, like within the mode. So that should be exciting. It's called Hut Wildcard. So that looks like it's a new mode that could be fun to play. But yeah, that plus the franchise mode revamp, that does seem to be like the major things they're kind of pushing this year, I would say. There's also something called a grudge match, which we're not really sure what that really is yet. They didn't really mention it in too much detail, but we'll see that probably in the coming weeks, like in a trailer.
What are your thoughts on the NHL franchise the last few years? Because a lot of people said like the last NHL game that was actually somewhat decent was ironically NHL 14, and Martin Brodeur was a cover athlete. So having played the game for so long, what are your thoughts on the video game up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, people, I always hear that. Always people say NHL 14, that's the best one. I mean, obviously, I mean, I played it a lot too. I was very young at the time, and it was really, really fun. 14 for sure. Like I get it. And honestly, yeah, there have been a lot of games recently that have been pretty disappointing. I'll be honest. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie and say it just because I'm, an EA game changer, EA council member, if you want to call it that. I'm not gonna just like say it's just every game is great. It's not. But I would say definitely this game does seem to be pretty significantly like changed, I would say, just from what it seems like, at least what we've been told and shown so far. Yeah, I mean, 24 I thought was okay. Like NHL 24, it was better than 23, I would say. But yeah, I mean, totally understand why people like don't like think it's like significantly different. I would say when it comes to sports games, you really don't see a huge change from one year to the next for the most part. Like let's say if you played NHL 21 and then you came back to play NHL 24, it'd be pretty different. You know what I mean? Like a 3-year, 2-year gap of not playing, I feel like you'll notice a lot different. The game will feel different and look different. But yeah, year over year, you don't usually see too many significant changes. But I definitely understand why people say NHL 14 is the best one. Still, I mean, for me, it definitely is up there as one of my favorites for sure. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think 25 is great potential.
Now I'm gonna push back on what you said, saying like sports games don't drastically change year by year. Here's what I said in my prior episode. For me, I'm just a casual gamer. I'm an offline gamer. I rarely play online because I just would rather do something a little more immersive. For me, I love the Be a Pro feature, which is you build your player from the ground up and you try to give them the highest rating. And I think a good example of that would be NBA 2K, because people can make the argument and say that 2K is the same game year after year after year. But for me, what changes is the my career setting, because 2K always has a new storyline. They have a different plot. One of the examples I used was like when NBA 2K14 was released. It was the first year that the PS4 was out on the market, and 2K elevated next-gen technology 10 years ago. And the my career setting got a complete overhaul. Like you had a rival, you had to compete in a showcase tournament, you got endorsement deals, you did all that, and there were cutscenes to make it seem like a movie, and you had off-court decisions. Or NBA 2K16, they had legendary director Spike Lee run it, and your character is starring in a Spike Lee movie. Or the very next year, NBA 2K17, they had Michael B. Jordan, and he played one of your teammates. I think that's the biggest thing when I'm playing like a sports game, and what entices me to get a new one, but to each their own. Because for me, it's like, I think the Be a Pro feature, it's been nothing but the same since like NHL 21 or NHL 22, whenever they did it. Like, it's the same decisions, it's the same cutscenes. It's just like, what can they change to make it better? And I'll keep NHL honest, they probably don't have the same budget as NBA 2K or Madden, all that. But basically, I just want to get your thoughts on the Be a Pro feature, and maybe share your thoughts on the franchise, because I think it's more or less the same.
Yeah, no, and that's something that's totally fair, and I agree with. Like, I'm a believer in that every mode should get something every year in the game, right? Like, I feel like no mode should be remain untouched, especially a mode where obviously, yeah, there definitely is a huge, I would say, player base. I mean, like, there are people that only play the game offline, like yourself, 100%. And I think it is unfair, honestly, because Be a Pro, it was the same. So basically, Be a Pro, I guess I would say Be a Pro from around NHL 15 or 16 to like, 21 was literally the same, right? Then 21, they got the whole like, oh, the cutscenes, right? And like you can actually have like choices again to like make your guy have like, you could buy things like that, you get like budgets and all that stuff. Like, that's cool. But like you said, it's literally been the same exactly since NHL 21. Like, it has not changed since 21. We don't know if it's going to be different in 25 yet. It doesn't really come out, but obviously they have not mentioned it yet. So that's obviously not a good sign either. But yeah, I mean, I really think Be a Pro definitely deserves a lot more love. It really does. I mean, I don't really play Be a Pro. I do play franchise mode though. So I mean, I do play offline modes, and I know there are people that obviously only play Be a Pro as well. So it is unfortunate that people, pretty much if you only play Be a Pro, I mean, I can't really blame you for saying you're not really sure if you want to buy it, because I mean, realistically, you can just update the rosters on your own on 24. And yeah, besides the gameplay, obviously that's a difference, right? But outside of that, there's really not a huge difference in the mode itself, right? At least what we know so far.
Before we continue with today's discussion with Henreek, let me tell you guys about FanDuel. You've heard me talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need to do is get a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com to look at the odds, and please remember to always gamble responsibly. All right, let's get back to today's discussion with Twitch streamer Henreek. Take it away once again. So I shared sort of my wish list for the game. What are some of the things you hope are added to the game and changes? Like, can you just share your wish list for my audience?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of things for sure. I mean, Hockey Ultimate Team, like that's my main mode. Like I play Hut for sure. Like, so, I mean, we got a new mode coming, so that's pretty exciting, I would say. I think they need to have just more quality of life additions in that mode, like just like things that kind of just make it easier to use the mode. You know, things like the auction house, being able to use that better, being able to search for a player by just their name instead of having to like do all this like, oh, search by right wing, you know, all these different like, I guess, extra ways to find players. And I just think in general, I mean, I feel like the game's on a horrible spot. Like, I mean, I feel like you can certainly add to each mode, like the ESHL, World of Shell. I do like that a lot as well. I think it has great potential, and last year got a lot of additions to it as well. So they mentioned something about live events to that. So hopefully it's something that like can be fun to play with friends and maybe something new to the game that we haven't seen before, hopefully. And franchise mode, I'm really looking for hopefully just things that should have been in the game for a long time, right? I mean, it'd be nice to see like a more like immersive like draft presentation, because every other game pretty much has that, right? Where you can kind of like see your guys get drafted. And I mean, I don't know. There's definitely every mode could use something. I think gameplay is definitely very important. I mean, you can't ignore the gameplay. I know people always say like, oh, well, I need this feature in, but gameplay is, of course, very important. I just think it needs to be more consistent, the gameplay. I don't like the whole fact of goalies just flopping around a lot on the ice when they get tired. I don't really like that. I never really thought that was a good idea for the NHL 24. So hopefully it's not the case in 25. But yeah, in general, I'm excited still for the game, no matter what. I'm going to be excited. I love hockey. I love the video game. But yeah.
So let me ask you this. Is there anything from NHL 24 that's redeeming for this upcoming game? Like, is there anything that you could take away from the previous game and just say like, okay, this was good, let's keep that, don't make any adjustments? Is there something to get me excited in that sort of aspect? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, so you mean from like 24 that you think like they should leave it like that and not change it in 25?
Yeah, like is there anything redeeming from you play the game so often?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think the skating was pretty good in terms of like that, like the actual gameplay of skating in NHL 24. I mean, a few adjustments can be made to it, but I think the skating like is in a pretty good spot. I think it could probably remove straight lining. That'd be nice, like where you just kind of like just skate straight and like you can just like blow by everybody, because that's obviously not realistic, like against the AIs, of course. But yeah, I mean that plus. I think like the World of Shell, like they have like the playoffs with your friend you can play. Like it's like kind of if you have like 3 friends, you could do 4v4 against all humans, and like you can kind of like rank up, and you have to win 16 games to actually win like the Elite Cup or the Pro Cup, and there's like a nice little celebration at the end. So I mean that's a pretty cool thing that I think is still obviously going to be in 25, and I think that's something they should definitely always keep, really.
So you mentioned the AI, and in their information package, NHL was basically saying, yeah, we've changed the slap shots, we changed the AI, we added so-and-so animations. I said on this show, like, I feel like they're just blowing smoke, which is like, okay, you added these many new animations, but do you really need that many new animations? Like, does that really make an ounce of difference? Because as I'm playing the game, as I zone out, the skating ability, the shots, they more or less are the same. The only thing that I can see a huge difference is the speed. Like maybe someone like Dougie Hamilton isn't as fast as Jack Hughes in terms of skating. That's the only difference I really see. But it's just like, who cares about so-and-so animations? Because like I said, they're just going to blend in and seem the same as I'm zoning out. So when you're seeing NHL say, like, we did this to the AI, we changed the slap shots, we did all that, do you feel like that's actually legitimate, or are they just like blowing smoke? Because I feel like they were really big on the touch pass last year. And I'm just like, I think the slap shot is more or less the same. You're just trying to say, oh yeah, we made these minuscule changes, so buy the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely fair. The AI, they always say like they change and fix every year. I mean, I guess they're just trying different things every year, which you can't hate. But the animations, yeah, that's a fair thing to say too, for sure. Like sometimes, honestly, the new animations they add actually make it even worse, the game sometimes. Like it depends on the animation. Like sometimes there's certain shooting animations where you're like, why did I get that animation, right? Like I don't want to shoot like that. That's not what I wanted to do. Like that happens a lot still. And I feel like it's when they add these new animations that'll happen maybe once every few games in real life, right? Like it looks cool when it happens, but sometimes it's just not the animation you need at that time. But yeah, I mean, I mean, I believe the animations, like I believe they're not really blowing smoke, but it's just like certain animations obviously are not that important to add, I feel like. And it just sometimes kind of make it a negative experience, I would say, for the gameplay in general. But I mean, I don't know. I definitely think it's important to add new animations every year because, I mean, obviously then you're going to have people say literally it's the same exact game, right? Like you kind of have to have something different, right? Just to change it up. But I mean, I think it'll be good animations hopefully this year, right? I mean, knock on wood.
Okay. Do you think that this game exclusively being on the Xbox Series and PS5 will make a difference? Because I was watching some YouTube videos in the past. I'm just like, the PS5 and the PS4 graphics, or what's included in both of them, are more or less the same. Do you think NHL switching over to what other games are doing, because they assume that everyone now has a Xbox Series or a PS5 now, it's no longer a shortage? Do you think that will make an ounce of difference? And what were your initial reactions when you saw the screenshots of the Hughes brothers or the Utah Hockey Club, things like that?
I think it's a great thing. I really think it's a very important thing, actually, to have it only on new gen only, or current gen, however you look at it. Because I feel like I basically have to spend time making a whole other game for two different consoles, right? Like, because it's not the same exact game. Like you can't, if say like an NHL 24, you're on PS5, you can't play against someone on PS4, right? So like essentially it's two different games. So they had to spend an extra, I don't know how long it takes to actually make the games, but like they have to do everything again twice because obviously they have on the old generation of Xbox One and PS4. So it'll give them more time to focus on just the main game for Xbox Series X and PS5. So I think it's a huge, huge plus. And I think that's a huge plus to actually get people to, if they don't have the new console by now, finally get it. And then that'll hopefully make the population of the game better. Because sometimes there's times where you're searching for a game and you can search for a few minutes depending on the mode you're playing. Like it's not instant matchups, which is kind of frustrating. So, I mean, hopefully that should help with the searching times as well. And yeah, again, back to the Hughes cover. I mean, the Hughes brothers being in the game. I mean, I think it's so cool. I really do. And I'm so excited to get my hands on the game. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff coming with all of them, and some of the pre-order stuff they showed. Like they have some of their own, like there's like a choice pack of those three players, like Quinn, Luke, and Jack. They're 84 overall, so it'd be really cool to get my hands on that. I'm looking forward to it.
Before we close out today's episode, let me tell you guys about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level up to peak performance: superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the price you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Okay, let's close out today's episode with Henreek. Take it away once again. All right, last couple questions. I'm going to challenge you a little bit. Pitch me, because like I said, I am unsure if I want to purchase this game. You as a Twitch streamer, you having this sort of stand with EA Sports, pitch it to me. Why should I purchase this game? Let's tie it all together. What are you the most excited for, and what seems the most promising? Let's just do that bit of a recap. Let's tie it all together and use it as a pitch for me and maybe other undecided buyers to purchase this game.
I believe franchise mode is going to be incredible. I really do. I think franchise mode is going to be phenomenal. I think that's a mode that if you're an offline player, I think you got to get the game just for that. Like, I think it's a huge difference from 24, like huge difference. So like, it's actually a meaningful impact to the game.
And hang on. You mentioned that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
What are some of the things you hope changes in franchise mode?
I mean, it just needs to get more up to date in terms of like other games, right? Like there's other games have like, there's just more like detail, right? You need more detail in it. I can't really go into too many specifics, I guess, but I mean, it just has to be more modern, the franchise mode. And I mean, to say a revamp, you would assume there's many changes coming with that. So that's something that I believe. And then, like I said, if you're not 100% sold on it, I would just wait till the trailer comes out for franchise mode, honestly, to really, 100% sell yourself on it. And if you're someone that plays like online, you're a Hockey Ultimate Team player, I mean, there's a new mode coming. So that's something that's very exciting. And I think, and there's an XP path. It's like kind of similar to maybe MLB. We'll see if people love MLB, the show as well for that. So hopefully it's similar to that. We don't know yet. But if you're a Pro player, I mean, potentially that grudge match feature I mentioned could make it interesting. They mentioned something about like, it's going to work in online and offline mode. So we're not 100% sure how that's going to work, but that could impact Pro. Hopefully it does. So it makes Pro a little bit more fresh and exciting as well. But I think the two main things really for this year are franchise mode and Hockey Ultimate Team getting a new mode, I would say.
Awesome. And to wrap it all up, I mentioned that you're a Twitch streamer. Can you just touch on that a little bit? Like, how did you get into it, and what are you up to nowadays, and what does the future hold for your channel? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to get into competitive gaming and sort of carve out a nice career for themselves.
Yeah, I got into that a long time ago, actually. So like, I started making YouTube videos originally when I was like 13 years old, 14 years old. And I just kind of did it like as a fun hobby, right? I was in school, of course, so I wasn't taking it too seriously. But once I was like 18, 19, I was kind of like not really sure what I wanted to do with like my life, like go to school, get a job somewhere. I was like, I told my parents, like, let me get this computer and let me see if, what I can do. I believe in myself. Like, I think I can do well as a streamer. I feel like I have a good personality, and I feel like, I don't know, I'm pretty entertaining. So I gave it a shot. And, year after year, I was growing and growing. It took time. Like, it wasn't like something that just happened overnight. You have to put a lot of time and effort into it. Consistency is the biggest thing, I'd say, for any aspiring content creator of anything. I mean, not even just a streamer like YouTube or anything like that. It's very important to be consistent, kind of have a set schedule of when you're going to be streaming, making videos, because that's when people can expect your content to be out there. And yeah, I've been doing it now, I'd say pretty much every day since about 2019 now. So it's been a lot of years and a lot of fun. And like I said, if you want to get into it, always just have fun with it. Don't try to go into it with the ideas, oh yeah, I'm going to be, the next big streamer, right? Like that's not going to really work out for most people. You just got to go into having fun. If it works out, that's great. If it's just kind of a hobby, that's great too. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel bad when I go on vacation and people think that I stopped doing the show or that my channel's dead.
Exactly.
Like 1 week of not posting anything and people will automatically think that you're retired or something like that. Well, Henreek, thank you for taking the time out your day to come on and discuss everything NHL 25 and the franchise in general. Where can my audience find you at?
So you can find me on Twitch. That's where I'm live every single day, twitch.tv/Henreek. And my YouTube channel is just also called Henreek. So that's pretty much the main places.
All right. And the link to his Twitch will be in the description below. Henreek, the pleasure is always mine, my friend. And like I do to close out every episode, continue to stay safe. Have a wonderful day, New Jersey. Go Devils. I'll catch you guys next episode. Thanks for listening once again.